Well, yeah, hello. As you can see, we need to talk about a bunch of stuff today. For the in and out video of January, I'm gonna put this down. But it's the end of January, and we are talking about all the things that I have decluttered and about all the things that have come into my life. As you can see, maybe you could see it from my last video already, I have rearranged, or we have rearranged our bedroom a little bit, and this is one of the things, it's one of the hobbies of mine that I haven't been doing a lot during the past maybe decade, but as a teenager, I loved doing it. So this is where we start right into the recap of the month, because I want to not only focus on stuff, but also on all the other things, because these are the more important things of life, right? Stuff is just a little part, but we're going to talk about it eventually. So, apart from rearranging the bedroom, I had quite a busy month. And there were good parts about that because, for example, I got to see friends and I got to make new friends or meet new people that hopefully will turn into friendships, or some of them at least. And so actually I had a really good month when it comes to like community building and friendships and relationships. But then on the other hand, somehow my month was a bit stressful. And I can't really say why. Maybe because I met more people. So I spent more time doing things that I didn't do the past few months. I'm not sure, but overall I had a good month. It was cold a lot of times, but it didn't really snow a lot. Now it's raining. And it hasn't rained that much in quite a long time. The other thing that happened is that Paulina and I started a new podcast. So as you might know, we had the More or Less podcast we did in English, and we did like 60 episodes over a bit more than a year, and then we paused it in the past like spring, and now we started a new podcast, and it's a new podcast and not like a second season to the old one, because we decided to do it in German. So for all of you who have been asking for German something like German videos, German content, there's German content now. There's a podcast, and I will link it down below. And maybe that has added to the stress a little bit too, because setting up everything and recording episodes again, and now also preparing and recording more, because I will be leaving the country in a few days and will be gone on my like solo adventure for 2 weeks. So I had to prepare a bit for that and record more content in advance. So that might have added to the stress a bit too. So what I want to do now is decrease stress again, because stress is really not something I want in my life, at least like only a little bit, and the most positive stress that's possible. Sometimes when you're excited, when you go on adventures or try new things, maybe that, but not the other very present stress that most of us feel. And this, I think, already brings us to the stuff. Let's start by what I decluttered. So, unfortunately, I've seen that coming. It's this pair of jeans that I've had for only a year now. This is a pair of Levi's jeans I bought a year ago in Switzerland in like a secondhand store for 10 euros, because they were already kind of worn out. And they have holes now on my butt. And I know some people fix these kinds of holes. I don't know if you can see them, but it's like, it's just a hole. But I decided to not do that because it's not comfortable. I don't see myself like doing it. I don't know how to do it in a good way. And so I decided to declutter them. But maybe, I'm keeping decluttered stuff in our apartment for a while. So maybe I'm gonna like think of something to do with the fabric, or even, reanimate them, find a solution to fix them. I don't know. I like the fit of the pair of jeans, but I've worn it a lot. Now they have holes. Now they go. Also, I had another pair of jeans where I did not like the fit, and I'm decluttering those as well. They were just a bit too big, and sometimes, if I would like put them on, I thought, oh yeah, why not? They look good. But then wearing them during the day, they would just kind of slip down, and they didn't feel great, they didn't look great, and so I'm letting go of them. I will put these where I got them, which is in this shed in our neighborhood where everyone can just bring stuff they don't need anymore and take stuff they might need. That's where I got them, and that's where they will go back and hopefully, be worn by someone else. Then I have a pair of underwear. This is also just a regular thing happening, right? Holes everywhere, and so it's going. And a pair of socks with the same problem. This one actually does not have holes yet, this sock, but it's like so thin in so many areas. And its partner, and usually if I have like similar socks, I keep one sock and just wear it with another one, but I just don't have socks that are even similar to these, and so it would feel weird when they're really different. But this one has holes and also these huge areas of almost no fabric. So I decided to let go of these two. Then we have this measuring tape. It's almost broken because this part is like getting ripped off, but not yet. So I'm not really sure what I want to do with this, but I got like a new one for Christmas, and so I don't really see a reason for keeping two, and therefore I want to get rid of this. And then, let me be sure it's the right one. I decluttered this hard drive because it has like errors. It doesn't work anymore. And that's actually the first time that happened to me because these are really expensive hard drives. And I usually try to, be careful with them. And it might have happened that I dropped it, but this has like this drop protector. And of course it's not 100%, but also I'm sure I never dropped it from like high height. Still, it doesn't work anymore. And then I kind of like fixed it a few weeks ago, and I thought like, yes, and I was actually able to copy some more data, and I was almost like, oh, but now do I throw it away or like, do I declutter it if it still works, even though it's like slow and buggy? But then it just like stopped working altogether. And now there's data on this, so someone's like able to recover it. There's a lot of like personal data on there, which I don't like. On the other hand, whatever I do, I'm not able to make it work anymore, to get it to work anymore, and so I'm decluttering it. Which also means that we're now talking about the stuff that I have bought. A hard drive, it's kind of the exact same. I think it has like 1 terabyte more, and it's unfortunately I need to buy another one soon because I just had to transfer all of the data on there, or all of the data I had like saved somewhere else, but that belonged on that hard drive to this one, and so this is almost full now, but at least it works again. I have recovered most of my data, and I needed to buy a hard drive for that. I also found new jeans. So this pair of jeans I found next to one of these clothing donation boxes. I don't know what happened, but this clothing donation box was full, and then there was like a huge mountain in front of it, getting soaked wet, and it was disgusting. And the mountain was as big as what would fit into this thing, so there was just a mountain of trash. What I did was I looked if I could like fit more clothes into the donation box, because that's where they belong, right? But I also looked through the clothes and wanted to see if there's just something that I want to have, because these clothing donation boxes, no matter who runs them, most of them, or like really almost all of them, are unethical. The most ethical version is that the city looks through the clothes and then they resell the best ones, and then they ship the worst ones or all the rest to like East European countries or Africa. The worst ones kind of make a whole thing out of it and profit off of reselling and shipping to Africa. But in the end, a huge mountain, a huge pile of trashy clothes ends up in African landfills either way, and is destroying the economy there, is polluting nature, and it's just making everything worse. So it's not a great thing, and so I don't support them, and so it doesn't feel like I'm like stealing or doing anything wrong if I'm taking a pair of jeans that lays in the dirt next to the clothing donation box. This is a pair of jeans where I'm not sure if it's like for women or for men, but it fits me. Let's see. And it's almost 100% cotton. It's like 97% cotton and then 3% lycra, elastane something, but even it's like sustainable lycra or something like that. So this is kind of like an almost sustainable pair of jeans. It fits me better, at least, than the jeans that I decluttered. With this one, I'm not 100% sure how much I actually love the fit, but we will see when I wear it more. And also, but I found a second pair of jeans that I really like the fit. But this one, unfortunately, is a piece of garbage from Shein. So it's like, I don't know. It's only 60% cotton, and the other like 40. Well, now okay, and 10% lyocell, so 70% like organic stuff and 30% plastic. It's of course like bad quality button and a bad quality zipper. And I was like, almost like, I saw this pair of jeans, and it's just like, oh, this looks like it fits. And then I almost hoped that it would not fit, so that I wasn't tempted to take something like this into my wardrobe. So Shein, as you know, is like just the worst of fashion companies, because they steal designs from small creators. They manufacture without paying any attention to human rights. They pollute the environment, and they make toxic garments. And their styles are just super low quality. They flood the market with new styles every single day. People order way too much and throw everything away. And it's just, the whole thing is the opposite of sustainable and ethical. But now, this thing exists, right? And it will end up in the landfill sooner or later. And so I was thinking, since I like the fit, and since I just hope it's not like a toxic piece of garbage. I just really hope it's not harming my health. But it fits well, so I'm keeping it. And this I found like in this shed that I talked about in our neighborhood. So yeah, new pair of jeans. 2 jeans out, 2 jeans in. Next to the clothing donation box I just talked about, I also found this sweater. This is a beautiful 100% wool sweater. So it's like, wow, how am I this lucky? But it has holes. So it has like a small hole here on the sleeve, and it has some like things here at the bottom that I need to fix. Plus, it was actually a large, and now it fits me, and I'm a small human person. So this means it shrunk quite a bit in the washer, because someone was just, washing it too hot. And this means it's a bit stiff. But I think it's beautiful, and it's 100% wool. So I would just like give it a try. I washed it already, but that didn't really help. Maybe there are some tips and tricks, like rinsing it in vinegar or something to make it relax a bit more and to make it a bit softer, not as stiff anymore. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna wear it a bit and see if I want to keep it. But this is also something that came into my life this month. Also, I was talking about a pair of jeans, and you might remember in November, I brought in a pair of jeans that just, for me, it felt like it didn't fit. It was too short. What I did was I cut it off. So I cut it into a pair of shorts, and now I really, really like how they fit. It's a Zara, so it's not like, it's also a bad fast fashion company, but it's 100% cotton. So I thought like, I want to keep using them, but I cut them off so that would fit me in a way that I actually like wearing a pair of pants. Now I got something else, which is this sling bag from Wakes. This is like, it can be a sling, like you can wear it around your belly, but you can also wear it like this, which is what I would usually do. But you can also turn it into a backpack with this roll top, and by attaching the straps to these things here, so you can extend them. So this is a very versatile small bag, and this is the thing I'm gonna take on my little solo adventure. This is where I will pack stuff for 2 weeks in, and it's gonna be a bit crazy. And this was gifted by Wakes. So I actually, I know one of the founder of Wakes, and so I just wrote him an email and was like, hey, I'm going on this journey, and I would like to have this bag. Do you want to give it to me, or should I buy it myself? Like, I was totally fine with buying it myself, but he has also in the past said like, no, I'm gonna send it to you, because I've talked about their bags a lot, and I've also bought the big travel backpack myself 5 years ago, and I've been using it for 5 years, as you know, as my only piece of luggage. Now I have a second piece of luggage, also for everyday use. That's sometimes a good thing, but this was gifted, just to be completely transparent. But the interesting part for you is also that Wakes, for the very, very first time, is offering discount codes. So if there's something you've been looking at, if there's one of their bags, they actually are also available in black and in like sleek black, which is kind of a different fabric and more waterproof, then I highly suggest you check out the link down below in the description and also the discount code, because it's maybe the only chance to ever get one of their pieces discounted. And I'm really looking forward to my trip, and I'm really curious how this is gonna manage. But it's like the best bag I could find everywhere. Not just because I already own one of their bags, I know they're of high quality and sustainably made, but also there's no other bag that exists that I know of that can be turned into such a small, like, sling bag, but then also actually it extends into a backpack and has like a zipper and is waterproof and has like an entrance back here and some extra compartments. It's exactly the bag I need, I think. And so far I've used it a few times and I found it like amazing. So I can highly recommend to check them out. And it's just another thing that has come into my life. Last year I actually got like one PR sample. This year, so far, one PR sample. Let's see. I'm aiming for just a few, because this is also part of consumption, right? Even though I don't pay for it, I still bring it into my life and I still want to be really, really responsible and sustainable, which means it cannot be too many things. And now let's move on to the books. Let's just, I'm going to show you all the books that came into my life this month. This one by John Green. I actually like his books. They are like young adult love stories and things like that. And I like them. I haven't read it, found it in a public bookshelf. This one just sounded good. Also found it in a public bookshelf, and I will talk about all of these books once I read them and most likely will declutter them. This is called Herkunft, so it's like origin or like where you're from, something like that. So it talks, I guess, about identity and things like that. This is another John Green book. Let's see. I'm going to read it, tell you more about it. This is The Hate You Give. I've heard a lot about this title. I wanted to read it. I haven't read it. And now I found it at a public bookshelf, like all of these things. And so I'm going to read it and tell you more about it. This is actually a romance novel. It's, I think, The Love Hypothesis in English. But also I found this at a public bookshelf, and people say it's a nice read, so why not? This is Unorthodox. I have seen the Netflix series about this book, and I liked that, so I thought I'm gonna read the book since I found it at a public bookshelf. I was lucky with public bookshelves this month. This one too, it's called Das Ende der Erschöpfung, which means the end of exhaustion, something like that. It's about climate, it's about economy, it's about sustainability, and it sounded good. So I'm gonna read that. Then I also picked up this book at a public bookshelf. It's called Slow Train, and it's about like a train journey through Europe right before the pandemic. And I started, like, that's the book I'm currently reading, but I'm not done, so I'm gonna talk about it next month, I guess. But yeah, I like it so far. And this one now moves us into the books I've read this month, which is another John Green book. It's Eine, Alaska. I'm not sure how it's called in English. Something with Alaska, of course, as well, because that's like a main character. Looking for Alaska. Exactly. So I liked this book. Like, it was not my favorite, but it was like 4 stars or something like that. I liked the book. Also, you can now see all the books I read in the description, just the title, or you can follow me on the story graph. Also, I do think I now like changed the way my account works, so you can actually follow me and not just send a friend request. So maybe you try that again if you've tried to like send a friend request. I don't know. I hope it works now. Moving on to the books that I have brought back to the library already, because I returned all of them because I'm gonna be gone in a few days, and otherwise I do have to pay like a fee for not returning them in time. So yeah, So the first book I read this month is I Kissed Sarah Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. And I do have to say it was not my favorite book. It was just a bit boring. Like, you can read it, yes, it's a queer love story, yes, but not my favorite book. Like, and I've heard other people say that about other books of hers. So, I don't know. The next one I read is called Greenland. I think it's called Greenland as well in English. So it's called Grönland in German, by David Santos Donaldson. And it's this story of this Black author, and he's trying to write his book, and he's and his thoughts and his imagination and the journey he goes on just brings him back to a lot of like his life story and also past life stories of other like Black men, Black gay men. And I thought it was written really, really well and beautifully, and it was a really interesting story. So that book I can actually highly recommend you read. Then I did read the book The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I'm very sorry. But I've seen like the Netflix show about this book, and the book is quite a bit different. So they swapped out some like characters' genders and things like that, and some places where it all plays out, but it's the same story essentially. And I did like the Netflix show, and now I also did like the book, and I'm interested in like reading the other books that belong to that series. So let's see if I can find them at my library. But I really enjoyed that book, and I can also recommend it. It's like science fiction, and yeah, it's just different from American science fiction because it's Chinese science fiction. And so I can highly recommend to read it, because I think it's always good to get like a bit of like different viewpoints and aspects of the same matter. The next book I did read this month as well is called Dschinns. It's by Fatma Aydemir. And it's a story about like a Kurdish Turkish family living mostly in Germany, but then also they go back to Turkey for a funeral. And it's just really, really interesting because you get insight into everyone's point of view, and you can understand why they are the way they are. And the other people of the family are like, why are you doing this? But then you see this person's perspective, and you can understand. It's like sad, but also just interesting and wonderful, and about life and death and the important stuff in life, identity, things like that. So I did really enjoy that as well. And that's actually already all the books I read. It's, I think, 5 books. I wanted to read a bit less this year. And I mean, 5 books is similar to what I've read in some months, but less than what I read in other months. I think in February, I'm not going to read that much because I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks and I'm not bringing books. So that has been a lot of stuff. And during the course of the video, actually, rainfall changed into almost snow. So let's see how that continues. But this month, it just became very apparent to me that there's so much stuff. Now, not everyone is in a position similar to mine where clothes they find actually fit, and they can actually find clothes and have access to like public bookshelves and all of these circular economy things. And it's just wonderful to see how well these things work. And it's almost crazy to see just how much stuff there is. And I mean, there are these numbers of like, there are enough clothes on the planet to clothe like the next 6 generations. And I think for books, it's similar. Like, there are so many books on this planet. I do not want to say like, don't write new books. Absolutely not. But it's just, there are so many. And so for me, I find that there's not much need to buy new things because there's an overwhelming amount of new stuff in my life, even though technically this month I did not buy anything for myself. Like, yes, I bought the hard drive, but because the other one broke. So it was not that it was an additional thing. Yeah, it's just interesting, and it makes me grateful, but it also makes me sad because you can see like just how crazy the world is we live in. Also politics, of course. It's crazy. We're gonna keep working on the important stuff that's gonna make this world a welcoming place for everyone, that's gonna make it more possible for everyone to live the lives that they want, to live in freedom, to have their human rights met. So this is important to me, but in months like this, it sometimes feels like it's moving further away, like the goals. But then on the other hand, I mean, the only thing we can do, and the only thing we have to do, and the only thing we're doing is keep working on it, keep building community, keep helping people, keep voting for the people that we hope will make this world better for more people. So yeah, with this, we're at the end of today's video, and I do hope you liked it, and I do hope you also had a good month. Let me know what the things are that came into your life, that you decluttered, what you learned this month, and then I will link you a video that you can check out now if you're interested. Other than that, check out Patreon if you're interested in an extra weekly podcast episode. And thank you to all the ones who are already patrons. And if that's nothing for you, then check out this video, or I hope we'll see each other in the next one next week. Goodbye.